Hello again and welcome to the Franchise Everything podcast, where we talk about everything and anything franchising. And today we are at the CouriersPlease head office in Melbourne with Dominic Alleaume. Now, Dominic, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Glenn.
Now, let me get this right. You're a franchise owner or a franchise partner in CouriersPlease.
Correct.
You are run 200, which is Cranbourne West in Melbourne. Is that all correct? All right. Okay. I wanted to get that right, so I didn't muck that up for you.
Spot on.
Mate, thank you so much for joining us today on the podcast.
Thanks for having me today.
To talk to us about all things about being a CouriersPlease franchise partner, which I reckon a lot of people probably don't know a hell of a lot about. So I think this is a really cool discussion to have. So let's start. I know you've got a really a strong logistics and warehousing background before you're CouriersPlease. So let's start with that, hey, shall we? Where does it all begin?
So look, before coming over to CouriersPlease, I was, as you mentioned, I've always been in warehousing and dispatching and freight handling. Yep. After leaving school many years ago,
we won't say how many years ago, no.
Yeah, went into Woolworths or Safeway, as we used to call it.
I've forgotten it was called Safeway before.
Predominantly Safeway, then moved over to Woolies, and spent 15 years there in dispatch and warehousing.
So what sort of thing was that? Warehousing,
that was all freight handling, loading, receiving, forklift driving, pack and pick.
Yep. Or
pick and pack. Yep. From all the lines that you would see at the supermarket.
So is that like a shift work type of thing?
Yes, it was shift work.
Yep.
It gave me a great insight how the logistical ball game would work. I learned a lot. Was there 15 years. And then made redundant.
It must be a massive operation.
Yeah, and it's still going. But
and where was that at?
That was in Mulgrave at the time, close to home, so it was handy.
Yeah,
used to ride to work.
Motorbike or cycling?
No, cycling.
Okay,
yeah, wouldn't touch a motorbike. Cycling or run, but it was good. It kept me fit. Mm-hmm. It was fun times. Learned a lot, and then made redundant, as mentioned.
So, what were the circumstances of that redundancy? What was happening there?
The business moved from the union. It was very strongly union based, and it moved to and evolved into a conveyor belt system, which it didn't need the employees as much.
Okay, less employees,
very much
automation.
Yeah, automation, correct. So from there, moved on to TNT for a couple of years. That was also
before you jump on there. So, what was your thought around the redundancy then? Were you expecting it? Were you seeing it coming? Were you angry about it?
We saw it coming. It caused much angst and anxiety at the time because I was only 25, 26 of age. And you would listen to a lot of the older guys talk and say, take the money and run, take the money and run. But at that time, you're still young. We just recently got married and we're preparing to, start a family. And I thought, well, okay, you got this money dangling in front of you.
Yeah.
In the whole scheme of things, it's not a great deal of money. It could be a year's salary, but still, I still got a whole working life ahead of me. So,
because you're obviously thinking at that point, what's next?
Yeah.
So what were your options?
Yeah. So do I take that redundancy and move on to another job, obviously, or do I stay and see how the new automated the program would go? And many would stay. But I decided to leave.
I suppose because also in the thinking at that time, you're thinking, well, it's only a matter of time till more automation comes in.
Correct.
The next round.
Yeah. And a lot of that's changed in the whole industry. So move on to TNT. That was warehousing again, looking after several contracts, technology-wise, with Ericsson mobile phones. Anything that we could get our hands on, would warehouse, dispatch it, receive it.
So it was a very similar role you were doing day to day?
Pretty simple job.
Yeah.
And then we started a family. And I just wanted a change of life. I was just finding it a little bit tired looking at a screen all day. And, I just needed to step away from that side of warehousing.
So how long were you in warehousing by then?
17 years.
Yeah, so what was it? You were bored
From
or something
school,
there. Was it like a lack of challenge or something?
Yeah, I wasn't being challenged. And it also on the financial side of things as well. You just wanted to something to stimulate you in work.
I suppose because you've got capped earning potential, haven't you?
Yeah. So in terms of, and then I transitioned into CouriersPlease.
So we won't jump in that yet.
Not yet.
So
okay.
we've got to get through the process.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm just stepping you through this.
Yeah,
thing.
sure.
But it is interesting. You've 17 years in logistics and warehousing, so you'd know it inside out. So effectively now in CouriersPlease, you're on the total different end of that. that part, or a different end of the chain, should I
Sure.
say, or a different part of the chain. So what was the moment when you decided, right, I'm jumping out? It was when you were starting the family? This is when you're at TNT?
So,
What was the thought process
Yeah,
then?
sure. We're starting a family.
Yep.
And funny thing is, while I was at TNT, we used CouriersPlease to move our freight.
So it was fate.
Yeah, it was fate. Let's call it that. So I would converse with the driver that was working for CouriersPlease at the time,
Yeah.
and as we were speaking, he goes, "Hey, why don't you come over to CouriersPlease?" And funny thing is, I had a family member that was working at CouriersPlease that had a run territory. So
Who was that? Who was the family member?
an uncle.
Did you chat with them much about it?
I did too. Yeah. Once I was talking to the driver, and then I mentioned to my uncle.
Yeah.
The ball started to roll, and I thought they said, "Well, why don't you come over and just give it a go?" But you needed the right run.
Yeah.
You needed the right
So
run
that's the
territory.
right territory. That's the right
Correct.
territory.
You need the right territory. So where you reside, you don't want to be purchasing a run that's 2 hours drive from home or depot.
Yeah, I suppose that makes sense for anyone
Correct.
buying a business, let alone
Yeah.
a franchise or whatever.
Yeah.
And a lot of franchisors talk about the same thing, is that
Yeah.
it has to fit in with your whole life. If
Yeah.
it doesn't fit in, you've got to commute 2 hours. It's just not going to work, is it?
So yeah, there's sacrifices that you make, and
Yeah.
an opportunity was presented in front of me that a run was available
Close to home?
close to home.
Yep.
Close to depot, close to home, and it worked.
So did you, with your uncle, did you go out on a day with your uncle?
Yeah,
and how did all
yeah,
that work?
yeah.
'Cause
You need to feel
I
it.
reckon that someone wouldn't have
Yeah.
had, right? I'm thinking about it because a lot of people in franchises do trial days and things like that. I imagine many wouldn't have done trial days with a family member who's already got a franchise in that business.
No. What I did, I took a week's leave
Yeah.
from TNT without divulging too much information
course,
to
you've
what
got
my
to keep
plans
your
were,
cards close to your
because
chest.
we had a great working relationship. And then I went out for a week with him in the car and to feel it, to taste it and see, could I do this? What would drive me to do this? What are the pros and what are the cons?
And what were your recollections at the time? So what were you thinking? Because I think this is really relevant to a new potential franchise owner, because you're going through all those things that everyone's
Sure.
going through who might be watching or listening to this now.
Yeah, sure. Definitely hard work,
Yep.
but nothing's easy in life. And
You're talking about running a business.
Yeah.
Yep.
So hard work, and look, obviously, and I'm sure we'll get to the next chapter in my working life. But so my first initial reaction was, this is not easy. This is hard.
Did you think it was going to be easy?
No.
No?
So it's more than just, hey, you're a courier. It's more than just, hey, you're delivering and picking up a parcel. So I could see there was real great benefits, but a strong commitment at the same time. So it was about very much building relationships. So with your customer base.
And what appealed to you a lot about? Was that the thing that appealed to you most?
That appealed to me the most because I'm very much a people's person.
Yeah.
I'm very much about building relationships and conversing. So there was great interaction from that side of things rather than just talking to a parcel. Yeah.
Yeah. And what was the next step then? So you did your run, you enjoyed the week out there. What was the next process?
So
how long ago was this, by the way?
21 years ago.
Okay, so you're quite a veteran now in the business.
So moving along,
Yeah.
I've been now with CouriersPlease for 21 years and
Wow.
I've seen it enormously. So we started as contractors back then. And then I think 2012, we transitioned to a franchisee setup.
It was something around
Something
that, when
thereabouts.
you were
Yeah, I'm
around
not
there,
exactly
yeah.
sure of the year, but it's been some time now. We're FPs, franchisee partners, but rewinding it back. So, so that run was in Dandenong,
Yes. Your first run you got?
the first run I purchased, and I worked in there for 18 years, and I've seen it grow. I outgrew it.
Yep.
I couldn't grow it anymore until it came a little bit tired. So it was time for me to move on and find another challenge.
So what do you mean tired? The territory became tired?
Yeah, the
As in
territory
you
became
tapped
tired.
as much as you
I
could?
couldn't grow it anymore.
Okay.
Now,
And that was you as an owner-driver?
correct, yeah. So it's me as an owner-driver, and it could be various reasons, Glenn. That could be customers moving out,
Yep.
competition from our competitors.
Yeah.
It could be a number of reasons. And I thought I needed something to stimulate me. I needed another challenge.
Yeah.
But I still very much enjoyed where I was working, still within the frame of CouriersPlease and that model. So then I sold that pre-COVID.
Yes.
And now I'm in Cranbourne West, as you earlier mentioned.
So you sold that, and then but at the same time, obviously, you were talking to the business about another territory.
Yes. And I saw the run that I'm currently in now, Cranbourne West. There was major potential in that run for growth, and it's continually growing, and that will give me an opportunity to either split or put on a driver. So
split the territory up.
Split the territory,
and
put another driver in.
Do you sell that? Split that territory up and sell it?
Yes, you do. So in terms of that will come from a monetary side of things as well. But that's not quite there yet because I'm managing the run on my own. But there will be a time where it just will be very difficult because the business is continually growing.
Yeah. And what is it about a territory you see that had growth potential in it? What do you see when you...
So what I look at, great question. So what I look at when I'm purchasing a run territory, so everyone will enter the business trying to achieve something in their own way. Me personally, I would like to look at the growth and an industrial side of things. So you can have an industrial or a commercial. So as I mentioned, you're building relationship with your customers. But at the same time, the way we've moved from COVID, we're very big in e-commerce. So we're having a lot of online deliveries to private homes. But me personally,
that would have really changed the business.
Yeah, it's changed a lot.
Yeah.
And that could be a really good thing as well.
Yeah.
But it depends what you want to achieve out of your franchise.
So when you're talking industrial, because I'm trying to get my head around the business model, when you're talking industrial, you're doing probably going somewhere and getting multiple items from a business in the larger industrial type of ones.
Correct.
Where those more retail type ones, I think you refer to them as, that's like one or two parcels.
Correct.
Is that right?
Yeah, correct. So in my particular case with the industrials, you might go into a large warehouse and where there's trucks flowing in, but we can't pick up. We're not palletized.
Yes.
So even if you land the contract, then you would chat with CouriersPlease management, and they might put the truck in, or you'd say, I can do that, I can manage it.
Okay.
So it's high volume.
For a bigger volume.
So you're very much looking for bang for buck. So you're walking in, you're getting high volume, one stop, high volume, high pickup. And at the same time, you're still doing a delivery portion of the run as well. So in my particular case, we can call it a 60-40 split, 60% industrial, 40% residential.
Yeah. So what does your day look like? Can you describe
Sure.
your day? Because I reckon people have no idea. I mean, everyone, you get a knock at the door, someone gets delivered or whatever. So what are you up to all day?
No, it's a great question. I get people say to me, oh, geez, you must be tired of what you do. You're on the road. You're like a taxi driver. You're driving all around Victoria. No, it's very much opposite of that. I very much enjoy what I do. I'm fortunate that I live 5 minutes to depot, but we're going to be moving depot in the next distant future, so that will be okay. But from depot to my run territory, it will only be 10 minutes. Some people might not have that luxury, but you're never travelling an hour. You won't be travelling a long period of time from depot to your run.
Yep.
But answering your question, my day, I would start at 6 o'clock. We would sort.
So you go to the warehouse. That's where all the items are.
Yep. Sort out your freight, and that's going to be all changing.
Yes.
Because the business is evolving. We're going to be automated, so it's going to be the next phase is really much exciting. Hence why at my age I'm hanging in there. I'm staying in there because it's exciting.
You've been 21 years.
Yeah, it's exciting. So the next part of it, we're moving with the times. We're going to be automated, conveyor belts. So our job will be made easier. So we will spend more time in the field. We'll spend more time on the road, bringing in new customers and doing your daily task. So, I'd start at 6 and you go about your day. I'll do 2 runs a day.
Yes.
So I'll take the freight, go out to your run, do your deliveries, do your pickups, come back, say, by lunchtime, 12:30, 1 o'clock.
Back to the warehouse?
Back to the warehouse, unload your pickups, get your more freight, sort it, go back out, and I should be done by...
So just before you do that, so that was a big one. You're unloading. So while you're doing your run, you're also doing pickups as well from customers?
Yes.
And then dropping them back into the warehouse on your second run? Okay.
So very much different than some of our competitors, say, for example, Australia Post.
Yeah.
Very different. They will only do deliveries.
Because that was... And it's a very important thing because I hadn't thought about the pickups. Never occurred to me that you're also picking up stuff at the same time.
So we at CouriersPlease, we would take our freight, we would deliver it as we go out in the field, and at the same time you're doing your pickups.
Yep.
So your van very rarely is empty.
Yeah, it's constantly working.
Constantly working. Back at depot in the afternoon by 4:30, thereabouts. So should be home by 5. So look, you put in a 10-hour day, an honest day's work.
Yep.
That's fair and equitable.
So what sort of changes are you talking about coming up as far as automation goes? So what does that look like?
Yep. So yet to see exactly what it's going to be like, but from what I understand, meeting with some of the management team, the conveyor belt. So when we have the pickups and we come back to depot, rather than, because at the moment, as what we do with our pickups, we categorise it, we sort it in suburbs, in blocks. But in moving forward, we will have a conveyor belt. So all your parcel will just go on the belt, go through, and it will go down the chute.
So you don't have to sort anything then when you're getting your pickups. You just put it all in a pile and basically put it onto the belt.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. But that's yet to be determined.
Yeah. That's
the level.
That's the theory.
Okay. Yeah, that's the theory, but that's the plan.
And how does that impact you on?
That will make my job a lot easier.
Yeah.
There'll be less manual handling. That's the winner. Less manual handling. Just from your freight from your van.
Yep.
Put it on your trolley. Put it on the belt, and away it goes. And whether it goes down a chute or there'll be someone on the receiving end categorising it, or be scanned in, whether it goes in New South Wales, Queensland, SA.
Okay. So when you talk about growth of the territory, how are you looking to grow your territory? So are you doing the owner run yourself, or are you looking at bringing someone on? What's your thought process around bringing on other people? Have you done it before, brought on other people, or just mainly run it yourself?
Yeah, great. Before selling Dandenong Run, pre-COVID, I did employ a contractor to work in there. Everyone seems to want to be invincible, but it's
you can do it all. You can do it all.
We all like to think we can do it all, but there is a time where you just go, I can't manage this, and it gets a little bit difficult. So either your hours become longer and your quality of life at home starts to decrease. So if that starts to happen
in any business,
model, we can put on drivers.
Yep.
We can put on drivers, or you can split your run for monetary.
So you split your run as in sell it to someone else?
Yep. So a bordering driver.
Yep.
You might say that run earns such amount. We would negotiate a price. Or if you don't want it, you can give it away to make your quality of life a lot easier. So you can grow the run where you want it to grow. So that will grow your goodwill. That will grow your business. So when it is time for you to sell, the run's worth a lot more than what you actually purchased it.
Yeah, excellent. That's obviously the theory.
That's the objective.
Absolutely. Yeah,
that's the objective.
So what's your take on probably the biggest changes you've seen in your 21 years? So you're a super experienced person in this business now. What are the biggest changes that you've seen over the previous 21 years that have really impacted on you?
Sure. Look, the industry that we're working as couriers at CouriersPlease, volumes it's gone from there to there.
Is that just COVID, or has it just gradually been over?
I think it's gradual. But then when COVID came, it went to another level. And COVID obviously changed people's mindset. They want something, they want it now.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're very impatient mob.
We're here to provide that service within a time frame. We're not robots, but at the same time, you need to be a little bit professional in your job. And, we have turnaround times, and we try and adhere to that, in terms of our on-time performances and all that. So to keep customer base happy and to keep our relationships thriving as drivers to your customers.
I suppose that massive volume just brings massive opportunity, doesn't it?
That's the massive change. The basic thing's still there in terms of what we're doing in manual handling. That will never really change in what you do. You pick up and you deliver. That's what we do, because you can't have a robot to deliver your freight. Well, drones are coming in.
They're coming up.
So
or you deliver your pizza.
Yeah, look, the main change really has been the volume increase, and you see a lot of people come and go for various reasons.
Of course, yeah. So looking forward, crystal ball, 3-5 years down the track, what do you see for yourself? What does Cranbourne West look like?
Yeah, sure. Great question.
Are you going to be a 26-year veteran by then?
I can see a great light at the end of the tunnel. Me personally.
Yep.
And not everyone's probably fortunate enough, but again, what I put in is what I get back.
Yeah.
What I put in, and I repeat that, what I put in is what I'm going to get back. I have a great working relationship with my customers. I'm very much a relationship person.
Yeah,
so,
you've said a number of times you love building the relationship.
Yeah, I love building that. So I'm very fortunate to have that industrial side of things, and it's growing. It's growing rapidly. So there will be a time where I will have to split or put a driver on. I don't think that's too far away.
Good problem to have.
Yeah, it's a good, and I'm waiting for the right card to come in my hand, and we'll see which one I'll deal with then.
Excellent, mate. I think that's a great way to wrap up.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for telling us your
story,
story,
welcome.
Dom.
Thanks for having me.
And that's it for the Franchise Everything podcast, another episode again. Please do like, subscribe, leave great reviews, leave questions and comments. We'd love to hear from you. We'll catch you again the next one soon.